Hello, hello. Welcome to Day 6 Race to World First recap. Dratnos with Tettles here.
Sylvanas Windrunner.
Sylvanas Windrunner indeed.
A bad lady.
We have seen some nonsense going down today, so let's jump right into it with the recap here. So, of course, the state of the race right now, we have Echo in first place on Sylvanas Windrunner. Their best was, so in terms of actual health on the boss, was like 49%.
49.5, yeah.
Yeah, 49.5%, which we'll talk about more later. Complexity limit's best here at this 10.2% value is 50 point something.
50.64, yeah.
50.64 in terms of actual boss health percentage, yeah. And then we have BDGG and Method, who are both at about 80% of the boss's actual health, right?
I don't know if either of them got into phase 2.
Okay, so yeah, that's 67%. That's like right that intermission.
That's since they're both at 67%.
Yeah.
I would suspect that that's that 84% intermission.
Yeah. And then, of course, further down, we have a couple more guilds working on cleaning up the bosses, getting to Sylvanas. We've got Pieces and Aversion still cleaning those up. I expect that those will be fairly early orders of business by the time this video comes out, although yesterday I said that about Pieces, and they're still working on Kel'Thuzad, although yesterday I said it about Fate Scribe or Kahlo.
They only had 34 pulls on
Yeah, that's true.
KT.
Definitely still, though, a dangerous number of days to let the other guilds be on Sylvanas here for Pieces if they're trying to hold at least that world third. Something that it looks increasingly likely is going to be ceded to either BDGG or Method, who are in that exciting race. But right now, the state of the world first spot is pretty clear between Echo and Complexity Limit. And earlier today, it seemed like it was going to go to Echo.
Yes.
They were having back-to-back banger pulls on the boss. They were getting it. They took it from like 60% best to 51, and it was like 51, 51, 51, 50.5, 50.5.
It was the most consistent.
50.5.
It was the most consistent pulls I've seen out of them. Like that's how Echo does it. They'll have like a really bad day, and then somehow they'll string together 10 just banger progression pulls after banger progression pulls, and then they'll just down the end boss, and you're just like, where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah.
They were wiping out the same bad juncture for 4 hours, and then they just got through it and just slammed the boss and killed it instantly.
Yeah, but they didn't actually kill it because the boss does not actually end at 50% on Mythic difficulty. The boss ends, as this Wowhead article helpfully explains. So here's the story about it and the data mined last week part of it. Last week there was the addition of that Sylvanas aura somewhere in this little scene thing on July 8th, which says that it's the Sylvanas aura, and if you look through it, you'll see value 50, value 45 Mythic. So the new assumption is that the fight ends at 45% health instead of 50, and the assumption is that this aura is what is controlling that end, cutscene and winning the fight, and it's the one that had been implemented on July 8th, which was before Mythic came out, but during that heroic week.
I find it interesting that Echo didn't know.
Well, you say that. Did you know about it yesterday?
I knew that there was a possibility.
You did not put much weight into it, though. I know you didn't put much weight into it.
Yeah, I did not put much weight into it, but they were genuinely surprised, right? It's not that they had heard rumblings of it and thought it may be a thing. They genuinely did not know that it was not 50%.
Yeah. So what?
Not that I also
you
thought, I
you
thought
were
it
pretty
was
certain
50%.
about it. Yeah, I was on the 45% train versus you, but you were pretty adamant about 50. But earlier this morning, when I woke up, I was in the hotel lobby with THD and Siori, and they were telling me all about how it was going to be 45. And lo and behold, they were right.
I thought it was some massive tinfoil hat shit.
Yeah.
By the way,
but that basically meant that Echo, wiped it at 49.5% or whatever, and just massive sag all across their faces because their strategy had been very carefully crafted to get the boss to 50%.
They had their Moonkins like casting Wild Growth, and they were like really sacrificing a lot of their phase 2 damage optimizations.
So I would say that the initial take that a lot of people had on this, which is, there's no way you could get this thing below 50%, is completely ridiculous.
Absolutely absurd.
There's so much space left in this fight. You know, anytime you are killing a boss after 51-51, 50-50, while you're still so fresh on it, right? It's an end boss, and you're still only 100 pulls in, and you're having these deep pulls. I mean, effectively, that's Blizzard saying, hey, you're getting this far in the fight because you are not going to beat the enrage timer, right? You are not doing enough damage to beat this enrage timer we have on the fight, right? You need to get it to 45%, and the enrage timer's coming at 50. Well, find a way to do some more damage, because right now you're making it too safe, right? You're doing these healer convokes. You're doing these wild growths, right? That just it's the same reason you can't just go into a boss fight, right, and 10 heal it, right? If you 10 heal, yeah, you'll see the enrage every time, but you'll see the enrage every time. You're never going to kill it, right?
Yeah, but everybody's not the Echo Raiders themselves, but a lot of the community members were like, "Oh, this 45 number is not hittable,"
right?
And then they wrote Echo off immediately, and they were like,
"Yeah." So then the immediate thing was, "Oh, so it will die after reset when Limit gets their gear."
GG.
You know, race is over, which I completely reject. I think that Echo still has a massive shot in this thing.
Yes.
Echo will be raiding, as of the time of recording this, they'll be the next guild to be getting in there with big attempts on Sylvanas, and I think that there's a great chance that we will start seeing them shave more of those percentage points off the boss.
Gingy said that they were going to start looking into maybe doing some different splits that they had waited on.
Yeah, male splits,
at
right?
the end of the day yesterday, yeah. So some male splits potentially go into Mythic Plus as well.
Yeah, so there are still some upgrades from Mythic Plus. Not many. If you look at most people's drop optimizer, there's like 20 DPS from Mythic Plus this patch, but you know, every little helps. And also just changing around the composition, right? You have 5 Night Fae Moonkin in on your pull right now.
They're not optimizing DPS as well.
Night Fae Moonkin are extremely tanky compared to Venthyr Moonkin, right? They've got this beautiful Survivor's Rally trait. They can do these healer convokes. They've got all kinds of useful utility there. But maybe you got to start thinking about, okay, let's maybe think about Hunters, right? Hunters, very squishy, need a lot of help on that fight, dying all the time, but really fantastic damage profile. So I think that those are going to be the things that they're thinking about, and I think that everybody just assuming Echo can't come up with that kind of stuff. Like, the thing is, Echo thought the goalposts were at 50%, and so they shot for it, and they came up with the strategy that could most reliably get to 50%, and it worked, and it was great. The only thing was they needed to actually be coming up with a less reliable but more ambitious strategy to get to 45, right?
I think they have to start chopping the Moonkins, too.
I'm not sure, yeah. Well, I mean, I have no idea what the right play is, but the thing is, Echo does. Echo has a lot of ideas, and so do Complexity Limit. Complexity Limit have already from the start been assuming that 45 was a possibility. That's the difference between the two guilds. Complexity Limit has long been planning for the possibility of that, so they weren't making this. I mean, they were a little bit when Echo was pushing 50%. There was this kind of panic that was like, hey, we're on the clock here.
They were at lunch, and one of the guys was like, all right, well, I guess we just hope it dies at 45. Good luck.
Well, and so what they were doing is they were trying to get to 50 as well, but with a less optimal plan for it, just because if the fight ended at 50, you know, maybe they'd have a shot at getting the steal there, but it was pretty clear if the fight did end at 50 that it was going to be Echo's world first. But Complexity Limit had from the start been thinking this was likely to be at 45 because of this data mine string.
Yeah. And then Limit was also a bit slower on the upkeep this morning whenever we...
Yeah, so I mean, their pulls have been looking sketchier, but also their pulls have been looking sketchier because people have been playing more for damage, right? They haven't been using these cooldowns for survivability in the same extent. They've been moving these cooldowns off of stuff for more boss milk.
So in just as a point of reference for that, while Echo had that 49.5% wipe, they did that with a 79% Phase 2 push.
Right.
Compare that to Limit's best pull, where they had a 77.8% Phase 2 push, and their best was 56.4. So obviously they're going, like, if they are able to optimize Phase 3 in a little bit better way, like have a more clean Phase 3. Echo had in their 49.5, that was like basically their clean.
Right.
That was an absolutely astonishing Phase 3. Whereas the 56.4 from Limit, not always the best.
Now, we can have a little talk here about whether or not it's dumb that the fight doesn't end at 50 and ends at 45, and it's like a data mine string that figures that out. Let's just clear some things up here. Boss dies and some secret boss jumps out of the top of the room that you didn't know about. Cool. Awesome mythic phase. Boss dies at 5% different health total after seemingly having the same health totals all the rest of the way through the fight. Extremely dumb.
Okay, so
from Blizzard's end.
I agree, At the same time, though, but what does it mean? So it means that they're trying to make Phase 2 and Phase 3 harder without impacting how Phase 1 works.
Right, yeah. So the Phase 1, although to be fair, Phase 1 Mythic got impacted by the heroic hotfix from their plans. So because it is ending at 84,
it's 84
not 83.
82 or whatever. Yeah.
So, but either way, it's all a moot point here, right? Because at the end of the day, any of the takes you'll see about how it's unfair that it works this way miss the point that the World First race always has this element of uncertainty. In N'Zoth progression, we had it all the way through of like, what is actually going to go on here? And whichever guild is in first is always the one that's blazing that trail.
Yeah, and questions of like bad boss design or like bad decisions from Blizzard's end is not exactly what we're going for here, right?
Right.
What we're doing is we're covering the race, basically, and while we may have our opinions on...
Yeah. We're not going to go too much into that kind of thing, of course, on this. But I think it's a useful bit of, I don't know, background. So, end of the day, the question now comes down to, are we going to see a kill this reset?
Yes.
I think that there's a good chance.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that one or both of these guilds will kill this boss this reset. I think that after this video goes up, we will start seeing Echo getting their pulls in. I bet that they will get it sub 47. And to be fair, we're still not 100% sure that 45 is the number. It's that data mine string, but anybody who speaks with certainty that the 45 is the number is still crazy, in my opinion. This is a boss that is dead when that cutscene plays, as far as I'm concerned.
40%.
Well, I mean, could be 47?
30.
It would be weird.
0.
But the thing is, yeah.
She dies at 0.
The best educated guess is that it's the 45% number, but the previous best educated guess from a lot of people was that it was 50%, right? You never know these things for sure. Anyways, at the end of the day, it's just going to have to be coming down to, how much these guilds can optimize that damage and how much they're able to push it with their strat.
Do you think Limit just auto wins if it goes to the reset?
So that is the thing. I do agree if we do get to a point where like both guilds are at 46% wipes or whatever, and then we go to a reset, and then Limit farms their farm well and gets there and kills it before Echo resets, that would be an extremely disappointing way for this race to end, particularly because on several bosses, Echo have looked so fantastic, and on this push to 50%, they looked so fantastic as well. So yeah, I mean, I think that would show that Warcraft devs should make a global release a priority. But on the other hand, that's been true for a long time, and there's no indication that that's something that they actually have as a priority, right? They have all these other priorities they want with their servers, right? All the players that aren't in the Race to World First, and I disagree with it, but they've decided those priorities outweigh the Race to World First.
Yeah, there certainly could be some things said, choice words given, but at the same time, it just is unfortunately how it's going to happen.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would love to see a global release. Everybody would.
I think everybody would, yeah.
But I think that, and man, the amount that is mentioned in chat right now, if the race finished like that, it would be tenfold.
Oh, no.
It would be completely crazy. But I think right now, you've got this kind of assumption that it's going to end like that, and I do think that is that's a badly placed assumption.
So we've been doing these daily things where we're guessing stuff.
Yeah.
How much equity would you put in the fact that it dies before reset?
So I offered earlier 3-to-1 odds, three chances that it dies this reset to 1 that it doesn't.
Interesting. Okay, so you're saying
75% chance it dies this reset.
Yeah, exactly. That's not. I think that that's about fair. I would have given it about 50% chance that it dies this reset, but I think 75 also makes sense. I'm also in the camp of, I feel more comfortable that it would die this reset than it wouldn't.
If it doesn't die this reset, I do think there's a very good chance that it is that storyline of complexity limit kills it Tuesday or Wednesday, and the world collapses. Now,
holy shit.
On the one hand, it would be bad because that would suck. On the other hand, maybe that would spur the devs to actually take another look at this and be like, hang on a second, our game is the biggest esport on Twitch for several weeks of the year for this Race to World First
for
event.
Something we don't even pay for.
For something we just put the content out there and it does this by itself. We don't do anything.
Bigger than Overwatch League, and they don't pay for it.
Right, Overwatch League, a product that they've invested gazillions of dollars into for inexplicable reasons, right? Not to blame Blizzard.
But yes, exactly. That's
right.
the point.
So that might be something where it then causes them to have a think about maybe creating some kind of global release paradigm.
Dude, honestly, it would suck if the European Europeans had to like wait until just like some random ass time in the middle of the day for the servers to come back up, right? As opposed to like at 8 a.m.
Yeah, I mean,
CEST,
there
but-
are a lot of problems with most proposed global reset
But
solutions.
they already do it for expansion launch.
Well, yeah, but that's a different kind of, like, that doesn't
They-
actually affect the weekly reset or anything. The weekly reset on week 2 is the bigger problem than the actual release of the raid.
Yeah.
Like, the actual release of the raid is not a big deal for the 16-hour
The
thing.
16-hour thing, release of the raid, is almost like it's not okay. There's a slight advantage with it.
If you have an Emerald Nightmare style tier again, complexity limit's going to win that 100% of the time.
That'd be trash,
Sure.
right?
But yeah, for almost all cases, if the thing dies in the first reset, it's almost all washed away. But if it dies on Tuesday or Wednesday, the second reset, it's a North American guild that's probably killed it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's an unfortunate reality. Hopefully there will be something that changes. Hopefully that this raid doesn't go down like that. I genuinely.
Yeah, it's a shame. I was so high on this whole thing after Painsmith, and then we just had 3 bosses collapse, and then this boss has this stuff going on. I don't know. It's stuff has gotten weird.
This raid instance has taken a turn very quickly.
It has taken a turn indeed. But you know what? I'm actually very hyped to see the guilds optimize out those last 5 percentage points. It's going to be really cool to see. And I was biting my nails today watching both guilds progress, and I think that feeling is only going to intensify. And I also think there's a good chance Echo could just roll up in there and get it very quickly tomorrow.
There's a side note. I think that Sylvanas on Mythic is a lot better of a boss. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god. For Heroic, that fight, awful. Mythic, significantly better.
So much of the pain points of Heroic, the arrows spawning in random places and just getting you, gone, right? They clump up on Mythic. The bridge part taking 5 minutes, gone. It takes like 3 minutes of intense gameplay on Mythic.
I don't love that the boss is immune during that phase, but I think that the bridge, it's the best iteration it could have possibly been.
I'm pretty fine with the way it turns out on Mythic. So I think that Mythic Sylvanas is a pretty fantastic end boss fight in terms of the way the gameplay looks right now. I, of course, will have to play it. Yeah.
This raid is not like unplayable or anything like that, but it will certainly go down as like in less favor than most raids.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that like Guardian didn't do the thing it was supposed to do, right? Be a hard patchwork fight.
Yeah.
Fatescribe didn't do the thing it was supposed to do, be like a complicated figure out
Be a
how
boss.
how to get people to do their runes. Kel'Thuzad didn't do the thing it was supposed to do, right? None of those bosses did their jobs. Painsmith carried much more than its weight.
Oh my god, that is one of the best bosses I've seen.
And the early bosses were great too.
In expansions, man.
I mean, the Jailer and the 9, forgettable. Terror Grew, great first boss. And Soul Render and Remnant and Azul, both fantastic bosses for their placement in the dungeon.
I agree. Like the first half started off so strong, the back half.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, how this raid will probably be remembered will be based on this Sylvanas moment. So that is what we will be.
It may be a shit show.
we will keep you updated over the next couple days how that goes. But again, right now, Sylvanas, 49.6% is the health value it's at. We have no idea what it'll be at by the time we're here tomorrow.
We may be releasing a video early.
Yeah.
There may be a flag waved.
There could be.
Whether it be European or
American.
Yeah.
But I think if it ends
What
tomorrow...
about a Canadian flag?
Are there Canadian guilds?
Well, Shakib is Canadian.
Okay, that's fair. He's in Complexity Limit. Are there Canadians in Echo? I don't think so.
No,
they have some Americans.
Many's from Colorado.
Yeah, they
and
have
Jeep is from
Jeep.
Missouri.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, this was a good little piece of trivia. Now you know. Anyways, bye.
Later.